What is up? A-Aron back for another Angelina Jordan reaction. And we're doing Unchained Melody. This is a fourth in a mini series. This one, she's at age 12. So we did 8, 9. Now we're up to age 12. I will tell you, I was very impressed at her at the age of 9. So now we're jumping up to 12. So I can't wait. This is super exciting, excuse me. And before we dive in, I'm going to keep this super brief, but I will have a more complete message at the end. But if you're you follow Angelina, you're an angel, you want more stuff and so forth, I've got a membership site specifically for her where we got a number of benefits. So please check out the description for more details on that. There'll be a link and so forth where you can watch a video and so on and so forth. But otherwise, let's get right to this. And by the way, the 17-year-old version of her doing Unchained Melody at the Nobel Peace Prize is coming. So you'll get that very soon. I'm actually recording it next. You'll see me in the same shirt. But let's get to this. This is Angelina Jordan, Unchained Melody, age 12. Home recording. And also, a big shout out to Jim Rowe for sharing several performances and allowing me to understand the breakdown of what is available for her for Unchained Melody. And then also for Boris Pelinovsky for enhancing the audio in this version. The sound was remastered, and also Jim Rowe pointed that out. So thank you both.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. And time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. So are you still mine?
Oh my gosh.
I need your love.
Oh.
I need your love. God spared your love to me. Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Yeah, lonely riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hunger for your touch, your lonely time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. God spared your love to me.
Wow. Well, I mean, everything's perfect. I mean, now she isn't just figuring the song out. She isn't just trying to perform it. She's actually trying to elicit certain feelings, right? At this moment, at this age, she's already as an artist thinking about not how to sing something or not what works or just what sounds good or is easy for her, whatever. She's thinking about the emotions she wants you to be elicited from. Right? I think I messed that up, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, how are you going to feel? That's how she's singing. She has certain changes and manipulations and subtleties that she's thinking about the actual impact to you at this age. Unbelievable. And her refinement and tone, it's so cool to see this gap now from 9 to 12 from the two performances I saw where she was on the Linmo show. And by the way, I just watched that one as I'm recording it to now 12. So I have a back-to-back thought process. And she sounded great there. I was super impressed. But now everything's refined, everything. And I absolutely adore her sound on that lower register. So few female vocalists, especially at a young age, can do that. And now we see her range is expanded because now she's finally, oh, finally, I mean, she's 12, or right? But for her, the amount of performances and rehearsals, and I mean, she's working at it. Like she's a true artist, and she's actually putting a lot of time into this craft, a ton of time and work and energy, and right? And so it is finally at this point because a lot of time and performances have gone by, right? And now like everything's just coming together, right? So when I first heard her at 8, the rehearsal, she tried to do those upper register belts in her upper register, and it was a real struggle for her. It was really difficult. She didn't do it so well, and she laughed it off, and I talked about that, and it was amazing to see. Here, she's comfortable with it. Like you don't see her like maybe a little bit of anticipation, but you don't see it, right? Like I kind of got a sense from her that it was coming. But it wasn't nerves and she executed perfectly. Like it was just another part of her range at this point. I want to go back and kind of redo some of that and stop and frequently comment because there's a lot of things I wanted to say but I didn't want to stop it. I was just too ingrained into it, right? I didn't want to lose her performance for myself, let alone you. Right? So let's go back. And there are several things. I mean, for one, the arrangement, I think it's a karaoke. You hear the metronome clicking for the timing of that, which is typical in kind of like a karaoke track to count out, okay, we're gonna start. And she hits it perfectly on time and in tune.
Oh,
Perfect.
my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch alone, lonely time.
I wrote down lonely time here for a reason. Right here. Like, listen to how that shift in her tone. She gets a complete 180. And then that vibrato is sick. It is sick.
Lonely
Actually, let's go
time
back to the end of the
of
last phrase and just listen to that.
alone,
The tone is just the timbre.
lonely time.
And then we see another, I also wrote this down. Time goes by so slowly. That tone changed incredibly as well. Like she's these little shifts, these pivots. And her dynamics, by the way, she's going in and out and all these little things.
Time goes
Listen here.
by so slowly. And
And then all those runs, right? Um, and the other thing that I want to say now, because I'm looking at my notes, I did not hear. I heard Righteous Brothers almost exclusively in her earlier performance in terms of influences. Here, I actually hear the Elvis um, influence in her when she does the Lonely River Flow. That portion of it, I actually believe, like obviously could be wrong, but I believe she's actually listened to and studied the Elvis version of this, and I hear it in that Lonely River Flow. So when that comes up, pay attention.
Time can do so much.
And the much is not as staccato, not cut off much as she did before. It's more connected, which actually I think fits the tune more. So I think she did it before as a choice, but now she's grown up and more mature, and I think she believes that the choice here is a better suit for the music to not be as staccato.
So much.
It so it is staccato, but the way that she enunciates it is different.
Are you so
And that is just beautiful. So much control and agility through that. I mean, that is ridiculous what she just did there. Ridiculous. And she did it later as well, even better. Well, not better, but more. I was more impressed, even more. There's such a thing.
I need your love. I need your love. God.
So I'm pointing out different things as we're going through. Now I want to draw attention to her dynamics, how she comes in volume wise, and that's what we mean by dynamics, right? Someone, mentioned to me a little while back, hey, please explain these musical terms. So apologies, but yeah. And I think I mentioned agility, right? The agility is the ability to bounce around and move with it, right? Those little runs and everything. That's what I mean by agility, vocal agility, right? Dynamics here, we're talking about the volume and playing with it, right? To go like in and out or attacks ha versus huh, right, like all of these are the dynamics. Pay attention to that, and I'll kind of point out some things here too.
God's made your love.
Yeah, like right there's a perfect example. Just it went into nothingness. Love, like just perfect example. And so there's so much of this going on. I'm probably not going to point out anymore because there's so many things to comment on, but
God's made your
listen how she
love
insists. Love.
to me.
Now Elvis.
Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the
So not entirely. Like I feel like Elvis has a different timbre to his sound. It sounds different as well as just so much more strong vibrato as he does it. And I believe he does his male voice as well, but he has a fuller body even more than her on the lower register. So it does sound different, but I do feel like there's an influence there. More than I noticed before.
lonely rivers flow to the sea,
Hmm.
to the open arms of the sea. Yeah, lonely riverside.
So I'm really curious. I'm not vocal coach. I haven't done a ton of vocal studies, just a tiny bit. But one thing I do know is that it's typically not good technique to do like a vibrato with moving your mouth. It should be deeper and down here. And I believe that also applies to kind of some of these vocal runs, but you see her adjusting her jaw a lot here. And I don't know if that's bad technique. I imagine it's not because, she wouldn't be able to do what she can with bad technique, I don't believe. I really don't think that's possible. So there's probably maybe an effect there with her voice she's doing or something to that effect. I'm not quite sure, but if anybody does have vocal training, could throw that in there in terms of what that is or why. It works for her for sure. Um, but I believe I've seen, on some other singers and stuff, vocal coaches talk about that's not good technique, I believe. So,
of the
and
sea.
again, I'm not saying it's bad technique, and I'm not saying it's she shouldn't do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Right there. Yeah.
lonely riverside. Wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home. Wait for me. Oh, my love.
And so one of the most important things in musical performance, and this is true of storytelling, movies, right? This kind of building conflict, release, trying to find peak moments and so forth here. And she's chosen, and it makes sense because musically the accompaniment in the background builds that way too. But she recognizes this is a moment where we've built up to it, and she comes in so much fuller chest voice and body here with that sound as one of those moments. Listen to this transition
I'll be coming home. Wait for me.
right here.
Oh, my love, my
And I could absolutely be wrong because I haven't seen it in a long time. But I mentioned in my very first reaction to the song that, for me, this song represents the movie Ghost, right? And I believe that that same moment in the movie, I want to go back and see because I don't know, I'm probably wrong, but I feel like that hits so hard. And I remember a moment in that movie in my mind, but I don't remember the music that goes with it. But I'm guessing it's that moment where they show the arms embraced around each other, where they're doing the pottery for that. Be curious to see.
darling, my darling. I've hunger for your touch, lonely time.
Again, these runs and that agility and the ability to seamlessly do it now. There's nobody that should be able to do that at this age. It shouldn't be possible. And she does it with such ease. She's just doing what makes sense to her.
Time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much.
And there we see a very different much where she really lays into the much. And actually, I did much more of a staccato ending there, but it's different from the early one, I'm pretty sure.
You still mine. I need your love. I need your love. God's special love.
That was so easy for her here. That sounds slightly off pitch to me. Probably my ear. But I'm looking at the time and I do gotta end this. That was beautiful. Slide up. Okay, this went super long. I hope that it wasn't too much for you. I know a lot of you do enjoy the analysis and stuff. So regardless, I thank you. Super quick message for you if you have interest in this membership I was talking about. Otherwise, thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Hey, super quick message, but very, very important. If you're a big Angelina fan or a big A-Aron Reacts fan, and you want more of it, you want more benefits, and you also want to get ahead of things. Right now, I just made the decision based on feedback from you that I'm actually going to go beyond those initial early years from Angelina, and I'm actually going all the way to the presents. If you go to the membership site from a-aronreacts.com, then you're going to actually see an option with a video, right? There's a video on the homepage. I'll link to it, but there's a video that walks through what the membership is. There's an Angelina specific membership where you get everything Angelina specifically. And I'm going to continue to be keeping ahead of public releases for those. So for those of you that are big fans and want to continue to follow and support the channel, please go check that out now.